Today on Practical Tactical, driving is the focus as Rich Wyatt goes through a series of drills that can help save your life. Defending yourself goes far beyond whether or not you choose to carry a firearm. Each year, there are more than 6 million car accidents in the United States. A person dies in a car accident every 12 minutes. With the increase in cell phones and texting behind the wheel, the risks have gone up for all of us. This is one episode of Practical Tactical you can't afford to miss.
Today on Practical Tactical, we're just outside of Memphis, Tennessee at High Caliber Training, where they do some phenomenal firearms training. But today, we're hitting the street. We're going to go on the track and learn how to drive so you don't be a victim. When it comes to protecting yourself in your car, a seatbelt or airbag are not your only safety measures. A Gallup poll showed that more motorists are worried about a driver with road rage than they are a drunk driver. Sid Jordan and Steve Riker are my instructors here at HCT, where they have an amazing operation that can help prepare all of us.
We have a 2.5-mile driving track here at the facility, and we can simulate all different types of weather conditions, different surfaces to drive on, so we can accomplish a lot. Get drivers out here and let them push the limits. And this is a good place to do it. You don't want to be practicing this kind of stuff out on the highways.
So this car, it's a tool in our self-defense toolbox. It's something we can use to protect ourselves.
Absolutely.
We're in it so much of the time that really most of us haven't got enough experience behind the wheel in a proper fashion to know how to use the car.
If you think about it, most people have been through one driving school in their entire life, and that was when they were about 15 or 16 years old. They went through their state-mandated driving school, and they taught them how to tactically parallel park their vehicles, and that's about it. So you come out here, and a lot of people leave here, and they're surprised at what they can do with their vehicle.
Well, we know that if we train to minimum standards, we get minimum results. So out here today on this beautiful track, we're going to really see how to push to the limits, and I'm looking forward to it. So let's jump in and get into burning some rubber. The AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety studied more than 10,000 incidents of violent, aggressive driving over a 7-year span and found that at least 218 people were killed and over 12,000 were injured when drivers got angry. So how should one deal with an aggressive driver on the road? Okay, so Sid, we got an aggressive driver behind us. He's mad at something. We don't know if it's us or the world or who it is. Now he's bumped us. Now he's bumped us with the car.
In this situation, we don't want to continue a conflict. We don't want to be an aggressor in a conflict. So if we can avoid this conflict, that's what we're going to do. So when we have an aggressive driver that gets up on us like this, we're just going to slow down, maintain our speed, maybe a couple miles under the speed limit to let that person know that they can go around us. If they get too aggressive and they bump our vehicle or something overt like that, we're not going to stop and get out and fight with these people. All right, obviously they're having a bad day and we don't know what they might have.
Yeah, so are there times we might want to accelerate and get out of here? Now, if he's going by us like this, let him go.
We're going to let him go. He might have bumped our vehicle. We're going to document the license plate. We're going to call that in to local law enforcement and let them handle it.
Slow down and let him be gone. What about if he's bumping us and he's not passing us, he's just back there just bothers us? What about stepping on the gas and trying to get out of there?
That is an option, and again, it is to the level that we have been trained. Get some distance between them, get away from them a bit. If you're not trained to do that, then don't do it.
The key is to keep yourself safe.
Right.
There are 3 steps to remember to avoid being the victim of an aggressive driver. 1, don't be the offender, which means don't cut off other drivers. Don't drive slowly in the left lane, tailgate another vehicle, or make any questionable gestures. 2, don't engage an aggressive driver. Give angry drivers lots of room. Go to a populated place if you feel the other driver is trying to start a fight, and call 911 to report their aggressive behavior. And 3, adjust your attitude. Be the bigger person and put your safety and the safety of others on the road first. This is very good for real-life people every single day. Anybody is driving a car. Your children, your wife, yourself. Guys think they know everything. They think they know how to drive. Well, watching NASCAR doesn't make you a race car driver, but coming out here to high-caliber training can get you on the right direction.
Coming up next on Practical Tactical. Tactics you can apply to your driving to stay out of trouble.
The reason you're missing it, you're wanting to overcorrect.
Later, we'll bring Mother Nature into our driving lesson to learn how to properly handle a car during wet conditions. This is Practical Tactical.
Welcome back to the High Caliber Training Facility just outside of Memphis, Tennessee. We are spending this episode on their 2.5-mile driving track. learning how to become better behind the wheel.
Now he's bumped us with the car.
We just learned how to avoid an aggressive driver. But what happens when that aggressive driver, full of road rage, comes after you? Sid Jordan has a few maneuvers we should learn and practice.
The J-turn is an excellent way to get away from a threat. It's a good brake contact drill. If we have a threat in front of us, we need to get away from it quickly. We might be taking fire in the front of the vehicle. Someone might be coming at us, getting out of their vehicle at a stoplight or something like that. And it's not uncommon, you pull up to a stoplight and the car in front of you doesn't go quick enough and you give them a little, hey, that infuriates that person. Maybe they're having a bad day. They're jumping out of their car. What do? I make sure my doors are locked. They keep coming. They're banging on the hood. They might be screaming at me. I can go into a J-turn reverse if I have an open area behind me and I just start backing up. All right, I'm breaking contact away from them.
You are gone.
The J-turn maneuver is performed by quickly turning the wheel to one side and using the foot brake to lock the front wheels while turning. The vehicle is shifted from reverse to drive, and away we go.
So we got an aggressive driver here.
He's aggressive, he's beeping, he's bumped us.
We're just going to slow down and let him get around us.
Here he comes, he cuts us off, and he locks him up. Oh, man. He's getting out of the car. Here he comes. Get out of here. Here he comes. He's on us. He's coming. And, man, we're gone. He can't get us. And we're back on our way to the grocery store.
Looks like I'm up to give the J-turn a try.
The reason you're missing it, you're wanting to overcorrect. You're making these huge corrections in the wheel. And we want to make small inputs.
Smaller corrections.
It's one turn, bang. We're going to bring it all the way. One big turn.
One turn, that's it.
And as we're doing that turn, I'm coming down on those gears. I want to go ahead and get that transmission going in forward. Go.
Okay, this car's going to need some new tires, and it's going to need some new brakes, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
We can see with the J-turn how, while it's a heck of a lot of fun, man, you are gone in a flash and turn around the other way. And even if they're running after you, thinking they're going to get you, you are gone with breakneck speed and absolute precision.
In addition to the J-turn, the guys at HCT took us through a series of drills centered around defensive driving and all with the goal of keeping us and the people around us out of harm's way.
So this particular maneuver right here, this could be a little baby in a stroller out in the street. It could not be your life you're saving. It could be the life of another just because you have the ability to drive your car.
That's it.
But I don't think people out there realize what it can do for them if they could really learn to manage a car properly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's get to it.
Threshold braking can be used when a car needs to avoid a collision and is traveling too fast for normal braking pressure. This technique allows the driver to retain steering control while decelerating and potentially avoid any dangers or threats that may be in front of us.
All right, we got ABS off, and we're going to go through and practice some threshold braking. We're going to avoid contact and try to stop this vehicle inside those cones up there. And if we weren't paying attention or the vehicle in front of us stopped or there was something that we needed to get around, we're on the brakes and you can feel the car sliding, and then we can bring it right into our braking box. Let's get up to 55.
Nice. There it was. We saved the baby. We didn't hit the mamas. I can just see where that type of skill for just the average driver makes all the difference in the world.
It's important that most people get driver's training beyond what they typically get when they're 16. Most of the courses, all they teach you is rules of the road. It doesn't actually teach you how to drive. So when you're going 70 miles an hour, that's the first time most people learn swerve to avoid. And what do? They lock the brakes up, they go off-road, they flip their car, and they're done. You want to make those mistakes here on this track first. So when you are out there in the real life and somebody's not looking, they cut you off. Instead of T-boning them, you bring the vehicle down to a controllable speed, swerve around them, and continue on to your destination.
According to a study conducted by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, traffic accidents are the leading cause of death for 1 to 34-year-olds. Defensive driving goes beyond basic driver education. Since Americans spend up to 2 hours a day in our vehicles on average, get the training you need for whatever bump in the road may lie ahead.
Coming up next,
The tires have really lost their ability to grip the road.
we bring Mother Nature into the equation.
That rubber's not meeting the road at all now. There's just you and the water.
Do you know how to maneuver through less than ideal conditions? You're watching Practical Tactical.
During our time at the High Caliber Training Facility, we spent time on both of their shooting ranges working with moving targets. Learned how to maneuver through their shoot house when faced with an active shooter, and worked with handheld lights. Being a responsible firearms owner means getting the proper training to defend yourself and your family.
We have to train for the real world because that's where we're going to fight.
But not becoming a victim has many different meanings. Here at High Caliber Training, we have also learned the proper tactics to become a better defensive driver and not fall victim to incidents involving aggressive drivers. According to the National Safety Council, an estimated 77% of vehicle accidents are due to driver error. One of the biggest threats is driving in wet conditions.
That's probably our number one threat when we're driving is overcorrection of the car during foul weather conditions.
And there's no better way to learn how to do this stuff than to actually sit in the car to push it to the point where you lose control.
That's it.
There we go, girls.
See how the understeer of the car?
Yeah.
How I'm actually turning, but the car's wanting to go that way.
Yeah.
See how the car's going that way right now?
Yeah, it's pulling it.
Do you see what I have to do to defeat that?
Yeah.
Actually turn into where I feel like the car's going. If it's going that way, I'm actually going to turn the wheel that way. Watch. Hear that grinding noise?
Yeah.
That's the understeer on the car. And I can defeat that by coming off of it. See how the car wants to come back around?
Excellent piece of driving, Sid.
Saved it.
Nice save. Very, very nicely done. You got me a little bit tired out after all that manipulation. That was good. As you were going around there and we'd start to lose control in the vehicle and the vehicle would start spinning out, what were you doing to keep that car going in the right direction you wanted to be in?
Well, if you notice, I was making small inputs on the wheel. And that's one of the major inducers of wrecks is putting these gross motor movements into the wheel, and people, they just kind of freak out and they jerk the wheel in a direction. All we're doing is putting small inputs into the wheel. And if the car, like what we were doing there, where the car was wanting to drift and push out, you have a tendency to want to jam the wheel and get the car to go left, but it's actually going right the whole time.
Yeah.
If you notice, I'm actually taking some of the input out of the wheel. I'm actually turning into the slide, which way the car is wanting to push out, and we regain traction there. We're actually getting control of the car, and it's bringing it back where we want it to go.
So because the tires have really lost their ability to grip the road, you have to straighten it out to allow them to get that traction back on.
That's it, yes.
Yeah.
We're working off a small contact patch. The contact patch is where the tire meets the road. If you think about it, this entire car is not on the road.
Right.
It's just these 4 small contact patches that are touching the street, and we're controlling where those contact patches, how we want them to be, and putting pressure on them to get the car to go where we want it to go.
So this is the real deal, as they say, where the rubber meets the road.
That's it.
And this is where, when we're in the water, that rubber's not meeting the road at all now. There's just you and the water between the road and the tire. And so you're just bringing it right back into traction. And that's where most people just try to turn into it to keep the car going the way they want, and they've lost control.
Yep.
There are many ways to reduce your risk of getting in an accident while driving in wet road conditions, but 6 that require no training are: 1. Drive slow and in control during adverse conditions. 2. Make sure your tires have good tread. 3. Replace your windshield wiper blades yearly. 4. Leave at least 3 car lengths between you and the vehicle in front of you. 5. Stay alert. And 6. Don't talk on your cell phone or text while driving in dangerous conditions.
What you're taught here at High Caliber Training is how to manipulate the car. Slow, slight movements in order to control the vehicle. Most people have a tendency to oversteer and put themselves in the ditch, off the road, into a semi. If you learn how to control that, even when things get tight, you'll be a much better driver. It'll give you skill in order to save your lives so you don't become a victim.
A majority of Americans believe that talking on a cell phone and texting are 2 of the most dangerous behaviors that occur behind the wheel. Still, as many as 81% of drivers admit to making phone calls and texting while driving, even though it's illegal in some states. Please follow the driving laws of your area. If not for yourself, than for the others on the road. Be safe, be aware, and don't be a victim.